Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is the day two players move within one win of the ultimate title on the ultimate stage. This is about nerve. This is about skill. This is about belief under the most immense pressure. On days like these, there is nowhere quite like the Crucible. Welcome to semi-final Saturday at the Kazoo World Snooker Championship. Please welcome a young Welshman who clearly thrives on the big stage. Mentally, he has been an absolute animal in this match. 3 in a row from 3-0 down, 3 in a row from 6-4 down. He will absolutely believe that today he can become the 6th player from his country to make it to a world final. Always calm, always composed, the silent assassin, Jack Jones. And his opponent, on the 9th anniversary of his epic title in 15, this break-building giant is desperate to take a step closer to another huge final. Without doubt, he has recaptured his very best form over this fortnight, and he will be raring to go this morning. The pride of Essex, Stuart Ball Run Bingham.
Yeah, ready when you are, Jack.
Here we go with session 3. Jack Jones against Stuart Bingham. The two qualifiers. Jones playing his first semi-final. Bingham, who lifted the crown 9 years ago. And it's good morning to Neal Foulds, and it'll be interesting, Neal, won't it? There's been a certain pattern about this match so far. Bingham making the early running in the sessions, and then Jones reeling him in.
Indeed. Good morning, everybody. This is really the point of no return, isn't it? This third day of the semi-finals. I mean, it was the movement session in the other match where Graham Wilson has built up a healthy lead going into this afternoon. There's every chance that this third session will be the decisive one here. Of course, it may not. They may go nip and tuck to the line, but usually it's about now that a breakthrough is made by one of these two. It's really difficult to know who it's going to be, quite frankly.
Snooker became quite attritional towards the back end of their second session, and in the end Bingham might have felt relieved just to get out of it, level at 8-all. 1 or 2 errors beginning to creep into his game, perhaps feeling a little fatigued mentally. And there's an early mistake.
Yeah, it won't cost him anything, but he won't like the way he hit the ball there. Goodness, he spun the cue ball away from the red, hit it very poorly. So yes, he's got out, but it won't make him brimming with confidence. It's only one shot. This is a very awkward shot if he does take it on. Yeah, his cue ball was just running away mostly. I feel that yesterday, you know, you look at the other match briefly, I'll mention the other match, the David Gilbert yellow that he missed to try and level up again. Yeah, that felt like a huge turning point. So there will be something potentially in this session which might separate the players, something like that.
It bears repeating that none of the semi-finalists have had great seasons, which shows that form is no barometer to success here at the Crucible. Bingham just the one quarter-final. Jones only one round of 16 before this World Championship this season.
It's one of those shots, once you've got the pot, you don't want the cue ball to finish tight on the cushion. You want it to have bounced away, and that's why no shot
Stuart
can
Bingham.
play in the green. Had he been further away from the cushion, he certainly would have gone for it. Has he actually got the snooker is the question. I think there's a way through to part of the left-hand red, as you can see, but not the kind of edge that will take the cue ball down, so back to bulk. And Marcel Eckart's already doing his calculations, if there's any sort of a miss called. Marcel hovering around the table. Plenty of reds to hit, but of course he won't just try and hit anything, there'll be a plan. Well, this is not going to be hard enough.
Foul and a miss.
And it's
Stuart
not going to be
Bingham.
put back either, because it's actually quite a gross miscalculation. Got an easy red left.
That's about as much emotion as you get out of Jones. Just a little shake of the head, reflecting on what was potentially a big mistake.
One.
Chance for Bingham to settle early into this session, and that has been the pattern so far. He's made the running. He was threatening to run away with the first session, of course, when he led 3-0. He missed a blue when 4-0 was in the offing. And that was the turning point of this match so far, really. Jones conjured a quite superb 40 break. Not numerically impressive, but some of the pots that he negotiated were outstanding, given that to that point he'd really struggled. And then, of course, since then it's been a real battle all the way to 8 each.
8.
Crowd absolutely engrossed. Of course, tickets go on sale tomorrow for next year's World Championship, and you can be sure they'll be snapped up extremely quickly.
14. 15.
Well, he looked a bit weary, I thought, towards the end of yesterday afternoon session. Like he needed a good night's sleep and a chance to relax and go again, because he knows what's required, and you can't always be at your best here. If you can dig frames out of a session where you're struggling,
21.
as he, I thought, did yesterday. He knows today is a very big day. So hopefully rested up.
Threatre.
It's a nice shot. Played into a nice area there where plenty of options.
24.
The possible reds are open to him. Jack Jones will be thinking about the very poor snooker escape, which was way short actually with the red. It's one of those shots he probably could have afforded to give it a bit more and push onto the red. But instead he left an absolutely
31.
plum chance.
$32. 38.
Bingham started this match with breaks of 76 and 94. He's since made 2 other breaks of 79 and 107.
That's a really nice shot. That could not have been played better by anybody. There's always the fear you'll end up the wrong side of the 2 reds, no shot at the pink, or going over the top of the 2 reds, but he played it delightfully. It is an encouraging start to the morning.
45.
Now there's a problem now. The blue is not the ball of choice here, but it's the only one he can play with any ease because he played on the pink, but the queuing on the pink would be quite unpleasant actually. Over the top of it. Blue it is.
Stuart Bingham, 46.
So Bingham leaving himself hampered on his intended pink. Can't negotiate the blue. A disappointing end to what was a very promising visit for Bingham. 46 the lead. 51 in total with the foul from Jack Jones. Yeah, that always looked as though it was heading to the jaw, so that's a let-off for Bingham. Bound to be lots of nerves, start of a new session. It's now a best of 17 frame match from here. First to 9 from 8 each to get to the final.
Yeah, and of course the problem is with this event for some players is that they do actually lose their game. Jack Jones has been superb. You know, the way he's played, the players he's beaten, including Judd Trump. But, you know, to experience a 3-day match and on the top of it, should he win today, you know, he goes into an even longer final. You know, it really is, as Clive Evans called it, a marathon of the mind, this event. And if your game is sort of starts to tail off a bit, how do you pick it up and go again? It can be very difficult. Once again, Bingham troubled by proximity of a red to the cue ball. Second time in this frame already this has happened.
8.
And this is where experience may play its part. Bingham, of course, a former champion, has gone the full distance. Jones in uncharted territory in playing his first semi-final, his first match of this length. That ability to pace yourself over the 4 sessions is something that
14.
you can only really experience when you've done it, as Bingham has.
Stuart Bingham, 14.
So 59 left, and that's a good safety to finish from Bingham. Jones was threatening to get 3 snookers at one stage yesterday and managed to get a couple of them before Bingham eventually got over the line. So the former champion won't be taking anything for granted here. It's 2 snookers as things stand.
Right conceded. Stuart Bingham.
Jack Jones concedes. Stuart Bingham got in with a break of 46, missed the blue, but then Jones missed a red. And so it's the former world champion who's off and running first at 9-8. Another 7 in this session. The target is 17. They come back tonight from 7 o'clock UK time. Poor break off. Whatever you do, don't catch the blue.
Well, it's a nice shot. I mean, whether he's confident enough to knock this blue in and play on a red, or... I mean, there's not really a lot of value in tickling in behind it with the bunch so tightly packed. Bingham would escape, so he'd have to play the shot.
Six.
He's been the right blend of defence and attack so far in this championship, Jack Jones. But at the moment, I wonder if his game is just
Jack
flagging
Jones.
a little bit.
6.
I saw signs of it yesterday, and he's got to find a way of, you know, the same as Bingham, of course, coming out and regrouping this morning. But that's very easy to say, and not so easy to do. Bingham is in the same boat, isn't he? Well, he looked across there. I don't know if he saw something that he didn't like in the audience, whatever. May not have been. But when he missed it, he looked straight across at something away from the table. See that? It's a sign that maybe his eye was taken by something.
One.
But I wouldn't underestimate Jack Jones in any way, because the amount of people that have come up to me and said, well, who is Jack Jones? Who is he? Well, he's a good player, first of all. When he got here last year, it was a real shock. He's done nothing since, very little before. But all you've got to do is look at him and what he is, and he's a fine player. And I think there's a chance, somewhere in the subconscious, that some of his opponents for the last 2 years at this venue have kind of underestimated him. I'm not saying they've taken him lightly, but they always felt they would win. But he hasn't felt that they would beat him. That's all that matters.
$14.
If you're somebody like Judd Trump trying to win your second world title, you're playing the qualifier in the quarterfinals, you kind of assume it's a natural progression to get to the one table.
15.
But Jack Jones had completely different ideas.
He started the tournament as a 150-to-1 outsider, and he's bidding to become the lowest ranked player since Murphy in 2005 to win the tournament. coming into this ranked at 44. Murphy was 48th in the world when he won it.
22.
One thing he's demonstrated time and time again throughout this tournament, and indeed this match, is that he's very good at absorbing setbacks. He's already made some errors this morning, but of course Bingham has led him off in missing the red to this corner. He seems to be able to isolate his difficulties and stay in the moment, but that's gone as wrong as it could.
23.
Snookered on all colours.
Yeah, when you see it played like that, you could do the shot again, you might play the run through. So he's completely buried here. And of course, the only shot he can try and hit is the black. It seems to me, with the red up the table. This was the
Black
shot.
ball.
Maybe if he'd have run through, he'd have come through there, but he had bottom spin on it, back spin.
Foul and a miss.
I tell you what you don't want to do
Jack
on
Jones,
this shot.
23,
Just
Stuart
give away
Bingham,
needless
7.
7-point penalties. You know, if he was to miss his 2 or 3 times, that 21 start you're giving Stuart Bingham, which would be a bit unnecessary.
Back, no problem.
Marcel Eckardt, our referee, just replacing the cue ball. Youngest ever officiator of a world final in 2020.
I have to say the referees for these 2 semi-finals are as good as we've got in the game. Marcel Eckardt here and Tatiana Wollaston. O'Sullivan said last night in the studio, she's the best. And that's,
Yeah, we can try to
that's
check
from
if
somebody
we
who
can see a
doesn't
difference
always
technical.
see eye to eye with referees, Mr. O'Sullivan. For him to say that when no one asked him, it's pretty praiseworthy.
Yeah, if you think it's slightly left, then we can move it. Yeah, because we won't see that difference on the monitor.
Well, it looks bang on, doesn't it?
Yeah. Stuart, thanks. Foul and a miss. Stuart Bingham 7.
Yeah, these are expensive penalty points being given up here by Jones.
Yeah, back.
Yeah, he seems to be playing it in a very specific way. And really, I mean, he's just trying to hit this. I know that there's possibility of maybe a red that would go somewhere.
Yeah, Stuart. No problem. Have another look, please.
Yeah, I think that would have been handy if he'd done that first time, not just giving away 14 points. If it sends up a black ball frame, then you'd say that would have been a significant couple of penalties there. You mentioned Sean Murphy, of course, he's one of 2 qualifiers to win this, as we all know. But I was looking at through the almanac, and he's the only player to have ever beaten 5 seeded players to be world champion here at the Crucible. Terry Griffiths beat 4 the year he won it. Of course, you come in and playing a seed, so that's some achievement for Murphy. Anyway, that was a weak shot.
Both players look quite tentative at the start of this session, just magnifying the importance of these early exchanges in this 3rd session. Both players hoping to get a grip on things, get a substantial lead.
1.
A little shake of the head from Bingham. He had the initial chance when Jones missed the red to the left corner to punish him, having taken the first of the morning, but immediately missed himself. And that loose safety has let Jones
6.
back in.
7.
I've said this before, and I actually mentioned it, the person it involves yesterday. I think his cue action is very similar to that of former world champion Ken Doherty. His build, his approach, the way he hits the ball. I see a lot of Ken in him, and I actually saw Ken Doherty yesterday. I told him what I thought because he was baffled. He saw no similarity, but I certainly do. The way he swings the cue back and through the ball, very simple process. A very good shot. He deserves to be on something. Maybe a red to the middle is on.
22.
Well, that's desperate luck. That is very unfortunate. You cannot legislate for that. And the red might be going down in that general direction. It could have gone beyond the black. Instead, it lands on top of it. So now the pink to continue the break is a not very nice shot, quite honestly.
.980 souls packed in to enjoy the drama on this final day of the semi-finals. Really good shot, given the disappointment that he couldn't play on the black. He is made of stern stuff, Jones. He's got what it takes between the ears. That's why he's thriving here at the Crucible, the ultimate test. Oh, but that's the second red he's missed into that pocket. Hang on, hang on. Goodness me. The previous one, he overcut. That one, he hit thick. But what a result for him.
Yeah, I mean, he really had to hit it hard. I think he lost his accuracy. That's probably the reason he missed it. You know, the harder he hit the balls, the more chance that something could go wrong. And I suppose hitting it hard was how he fluked it. So he'll take it. Probably the shot here is to get a colour onto a cushion. Pink nailed on the left cushion, I think. He's looking at leaving the cue ball in a specific area. I think I'd really like a colour safe. A high value one as well. I think I'd be knocking the pink safe all day long here.
Green ball.
Yes, he's put the green on the cushion, but you don't want to get back into the frame with all the big colours nailed. Anyway, good lead. Might turn out that he's done the right thing, of course.
.67 still on the table, 45 the deficit for Bingham. Jones is a shade under 50% for his long pot success in this match. And a grimace as he misses that one and leaves Bingham with a chance.
Well, the worst thing he did there was to completely open the black up. I mean, that's the last thing he wanted and everything that Bingham wanted. That is a very serious error.
One.
And whatever happens in this frame, Jack Jones had the black tied up and he had every chance to completely put the pink glued to a cushion, and he didn't do it. That might come back to haunt him, you know, because really the table is not bad. Yes, the green he put safe.
8.
Which could help. And he hopes it does. But there's not much else. Even that red on the right of shot as we look there can be double to the opposite middle.
9.
He didn't get close. That's why the cue ball just ran wild. Didn't even hit the jaw with that red.
16.
Now,
17.
I don't know if he's got the shot here to move the red up the table. He could, although it wouldn't necessarily give him great position. He might not play on. He might play on the other red from what looked like using the rest there. Not gone far enough. He can actually reach it.
24.
But he wanted to be straighter on this red than he is. So the double is on. It's a slight back double. It's a double that he's probably only 50-50 to get at worst. Very gettable. Yeah.
32.
Maybe saying 50-50 was actually being unkind because it was a very manageable shot. Sometimes a double can be easier than you think.
Cue ball could have been better though. There's a graveyard-like silence, isn't there, at the moment inside the Crucible until an outbreak of applause.
Of course, the significant other thing to say is that the green ball, yes, you put it safe, Jack Jones, but he'll need it now as well. So that's why Bingham is playing a safety shot from the green. Interesting shot selection, that.
Stuart Bingham, 32.
Now it's really a yellow ball frame because everything else is at the player who pots its mercy. Bingham just walked away and almost couldn't bear to look back at the table. He knew that the yellow was going into an open space. Yellow to middle, round 3 cushions to the green, into the top left pocket, I think, is the shot. He's actually gone off 2 cushions and he's clipped the brown.
Which he's going to need to clinch the frame.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it? I mean, to hit the brown on the way through. Could have been worse.
Yeah. That's what's known as pocket weight. Just had the necessary legs to get there. So this to leave Bingham needing snookers.
Nine.
Yeah, I mean, interesting shot Bingham played, wasn't it, when he got the green out? Because he didn't necessarily have to do that. He could have played a different shot because both players needed the green anyway. He could have played maybe a more positive shot than that. Again, easy afterwards.
14.
This frame, once again, not without errors from Jack Jones. Benefited from the fluke and then was concerned that even though he'd put that green safe, it wasn't going to save him, but
Jack Jones 14 and the
he's done enough to win the frame and level this match once again on as even on this 3rd session so far. 1 apiece, 9 all.
Thank you. Settle down, please. The 19th frame. Jack
Jack Jones then preparing to get frame 19 underway, having drawn level once again. It's nothing to choose, 9 each.
So now, Philip, your best of 17 analogy is now a best of 15. First to 8 from here.
At the moment, it doesn't feel very likely that either of these players is going to pull away, but you never know.
I'm going to make a prediction that somebody will be in front after this session. It won't be another scenario of 12 all. I mean, if it is, it's quite remarkable that they would keep tying sessions. It makes me want to reach for the almanac and see how often that takes place.
Well, you have to go back to the 2007 semi-finals for the last time that both were tied at 8 each after 2 sessions. That was when Marcel eventually beat Sean Murphy from 2 down with 3 to play. And John Higgins came from 14-10 down in the final session against Stephen Maguire to win. And clearly there's still hope for Dave Gilbert. As recently as last year, we saw Luca Brissell overturn a 14-10 deficit in the final session against Si Jiawei. Of course, at one stage, he was 14-5 down. One of the most famous semi-finals in Crucible history back in 2003, when Ken Doherty was able to overturn a 15-9 deficit in the final session against the great Paul Hunter. Lovely connection on the red from Jones there, just feathering it, and the quality of the safety in this match overall has been of a very high caliber.
Foul and a miss. Jack Jones
Radar
6.
slightly off.
Yeah. Can we just check the pink, please, Tatjana? I think it went into the pocket. Just want to make sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Jack. Stu. Thanks. Got it.
Seems to be catching a few of those safety shots down the right side, a little on the thin side, Bingham. And the cue ball's kind of coming in and out of bolt somewhat as a consequence.
Jones, much the younger man, of course, just 30 years of age. Bingham turns 48 later this month. Only one previous meeting, the Gibraltar Open 2022. Jones had a great run that week. He beat Robertson and Marcel as well as Bingham, 4-0. Lost to Milkins, the eventual winner.
Well, there's the pink hit this time. Definitely pink.
I think I need to recheck that.
Well, yep. When he checks it, you'll see it was pink first.
I think the players know it was pink.
He's right to check it, though. I mean, referee can't see everything, but this undoubtedly hit the pink first.
Fine, yeah.
VAR in snooker, basically, a version of it.
Step back.
Works rather better than the football version.
Please, channel.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's just common sense, isn't it? It's impossible for a referee even as good as Marcel Eckardt to see everything that happens. And when it's possible to check, then why not check it? By the way, just looking at something, there's never been a 4-4, 8-8, 12-12 in the same match. But there was in 2002, both sessions were 12 all at the end of the third phase of it. Henry O'Sullivan, Matthew Stevens, Ebden. But they hadn't been locked at 4 all and 8 all the way.
Yeah.
So the ball's being replaced. Of course, the other ball's being replaced. The other thing is, before 1997, it was impossible anyway, because there were only 7 frames in the first session, because it was first to 16, so the frame setup was different.
Change of plan. And not one that worked as he would have liked. Nothing easy for Bingham. It's too thick on that red. He's been immaculate with the rest in this match, Stuart Bingham. 13 out of 13. Very sweetly struck right in the middle. Just stroked it in.
Well, Crucible's a little closer to the right cushion than he would have hoped. Which just means that it's a slightly difficult shot to run around with a couple of cushions from red to colour. Black again, of course. It's a real queuing shot, this. Missable. Ah, it's well played. That's beautiful.
A series of really impressive shots from Bingham to get into prime position. Maintains his perfect record with the rest, and that was just as good. That wasn't quite so good.
16.
No, he feels a bit sucked into playing this shot though now. He's got to go through all the reds in the bunch here with the cue ball. Oh, that's delightful. He's redeemed himself there. That's excellent, the way he just soft screwed off the bunch. The reds all had to go somewhere, but they've stayed fairly intact. Well, these are nice touches from Bingham, just when he needed something like this.
24. $25.
Bingham had his own sliding doors moment 30. At the beginning of this championship, of course. He was 2 down with 3 to play in his first match against Stuart Carrington.
31.
One stage he'd been 7-3 behind, then 9-7. And then was behind late on against Louis Heathcote as well, before coming through 10-8 with a series of big breaks, delivering when it mattered with his best snooker. And of course the win over O'Sullivan was terrific, but he'll be very annoyed to have missed that black. He's undercut 31. It just when he was going so well. That was such a good break to that point.
A disappointing end to the break for him, wasn't it? Things were just looking up there. This red goes through the gap, the 1-2 down from the pink. Frees everything. Brings everything into open play. Oh, what a result that is. The pink could have easily nailed itself to the cushion, but it hasn't done so, so that's there as well now. So this could be a moment, couldn't it? Bingham was going well. Mr. Black off the spot. He's still thinking about it while in his chair.
Six. Seven. Twelve. $13.
Wow, 5 reds around the pink spot here. If you could
19.
take those with the pink or even the blue, it would put him in a strong position now.
$20.
One of the problems for Bingham is that he hasn't made anything
26.
better than a 40 break since the century that took him 6-4 in front.
$27. $33.
Just checking the scores. Of course, he's a couple in front, so there's an awful lot of work to do. He'll need all of the reds from here, all 5 of them. There's no way around that. Of course, the one on the right cushion is
34.
blocked off by the black anyway. That's going to be an issue, but it's something for him to think about a little further down the line than now.
$40.
Jones' highest of 72, but he's also made back-to-back 60-plus breaks to take him into a 7-6 lead yesterday.
41.
quite a nice shot, that. Sort of bending across the table and queuing over a ball to finish correctly on the blue from that red.
.46. .47.
Key shot coming up then, positionally, if he's to win this frame at this visit and get himself back in front.
So close to being a brilliant shot, wasn't it?
53.
Instead of the options that were put on screen, decided to try and move that red and maybe be on the other one. I mean, it moves along the cushion any further. He's knocked it to the middle. Can't argue with the shot selection, just a bit unlucky not to get it quite right. So 22 the lead. You know, the frame is still alive and kicking here.
Jack John's 53.
A nice half-century. Bingham missed the black to the right corner, but this frame still very much up for grabs. 22 in it, 43 remaining. As the clock ticks past 7 hours of action.
Well, I wonder if Bingham will think about hitting this red onto the black here, because he'll certainly need the black. If he could just find a way of screwing this red, as we see the replay, which tried to get the cue ball back. Bingham would be playing a similar shot, no pot. I wonder if he'd be considered getting the black in play here. And it's one way of stopping the red from going anywhere back down the table as well. Well, it's worked out well. I'm not sure what he did play. Maybe that, but even then he got a nice flick on the green to seemingly get a snooker. Jack Jones displeased with the way the balls have finished. Maybe thinking about a couple of shots earlier how he didn't get this frame one when he had the chance. I mean, and obviously the other thing about Bingham, though, he didn't necessarily have to get the black out because he may not need it. But the likelihood is that he would have done. Anyway, Jones with something to think about here.
Foul and a miss. Stuart Bingham, 6. Yeah.
Going straight back. And of course, he's not going to miss that red if he's just trying to hit the red, basically. But he wanted to hit the thinnest of edges from it to try and get the cue ball back down the table. He got very close to hitting it, actually.
The shadow is where the ball was before the foul. Slight adjustment required. As if any extra incentive were needed to win this match, whoever does win it will be back in the top 16 next season. In the case of Jones, of course, for the first time.
Half the ball closer to the cushion, and then quarter the ball towards you.
It's kind of what he played the first time. Well, it could have been a lot worse.
It really is so tense inside this Crucible. Goodness knows what it's going to be like when we get to the final session later, particularly if this match remains as tight as it is and has been throughout. It's there.
It's very good. It's left him a bit of a conundrum, though, hasn't it? What does he do next from here? Is he going to roll the black in? I'll be surprised. It's not necessarily a frame-winning double, that, although it looked nice. Again, it could be time to pin a colour to a cushion.
Green ball.
He likes putting the green on the right cushion. That's what he's trying here. Same again.
Jack Jones, 1.
One wonders again whether Bingham might see an opportunity to bring the black in play, because he probably will need it now, more so than before. Not a certainty to play, but he'd be worried about where the red finished playing that shot. Whatever he plays, it's a worry where the red finishes, though.
This frame approaching the 30-minute mark. We had a 42-minute yesterday, which was a key one for Bingham because it enabled him to sign off on that second session level when he might have been a couple behind. He was a long way off with the pot. Now, where's this red ending up? It's on.
Indeed. Well, this is a chance that Bingham, I don't think, expected to get here. It's come up as a chance. 17 behind only.
One.
So crucially, the black will not be required now that he's got this high-value colour. But still, the clearance has got to be made from here.
Six.
Well, the angle on the yellow allows him just to fall in behind the line of the green, down the cushion with the cue ball.
8.
Oh dear, what was that? It's a terrible shot. I don't think he tried to nudge the green. I think he just played in behind it, but that's an odd one, that. It looked very straightforward to get onto the green. Yes, potting the green was going to be difficult. And he looks bewildered.
Stuart Bingham. 8.
Disappointment in not getting on the green, but it looks like the consolation of, if not a snooker, then very close to being. Marcel Eckardt's going to have a look. Just a bit of that green sticking out.
Cheers.
Not a lot.
Foul and a miss.
It's not an easy
Stuart Bingham.
replacement, this, because there really was not a lot sticking out, providing, of course, it does end up getting replaced. As Bingham thinks he can have a dart at this. He's certainly interested in it. I think Marcel will be quite relieved if he plays it, because the replacement would be awkward. There's so little of the green sticking out. It's one of these frames now which whoever player loses will be more than a bit disappointed, given that the chances they've had have been playing 35 minutes coming up. And we're not that much closer to knowing who will win it. 5 in front, Jack Jones on the green. It's absolutely anybody's. Bingham probably still can't work out how that yellow to green went so wrong. Didn't know better, you'd say he tried to move it, but he wouldn't have played that. Brown was close at hand as well. So getting on the green and rolling it, and that was his frame. Could be in trouble here.
Just a shade under 42 minutes, the longest frame of the match. This could eclipse that. Kind of frame that can be quite draining if you do lose it, because you've invested so much time and energy. Come away with nothing. Equally, whoever does come out on top, albeit that they'll only be 1 frame in front again, will be given a good boost of adrenaline. Very close, now trusting to luck, and he's left the green. What a chance for Jack Jones to be that player to edge back in front.
Yeah, he took a risk. Thought he played it well, hit it well, but as you see, he paid the full penalty.
Free.
Not loads to do here, just brown and blue, and it's been a long frame, but one that Jack Jones would be delighted to win.
Seven.
Just this blue then. Bingham already conducting a debrief.
12.
And it's Jack Jones who's come out on top. Lost the first frame of the day.
18.
But he's hit back to lead once again in what is turning into an epic battle here at the Crucible. Jack Jones leading Stuart Bingham, 10 frames to 9.
One.
Well, that's a gem. An absolute gem of an opening red. See what he does so well, Jack Jones. He, goes from defence to attack very well. For a player who is tough, and he's got a tough all-round game, he can play the important and the aggressive shots when he wants to. Overhit this one a little bit. So the next red, whichever red to the left corner he plays, position on his colour is got to be got right.
Nine.
Yep, that's a good shot. Played through the gap with the cue ball. He had to be sure. Had it flicked to red on the way through, no way would he have got perfect position that he seems to have done.
Yep.
Well, I say perfect. If he's using the spider, clearly it's not perfect. Do you need the spider for this? Must do. Just looking for something else, the extension. It's an unusual shot, isn't it? They've got the spider out, but the red that's in the way is not that close. Clever use of the spider, didn't do anything with it, just sat on the table. Not a foul or anything, you can do that. I don't think I'd like to do it in case something
16.
came back and whacked into it, one of the balls.
Oh, goodness. Well, you saw just how thin it was, and of course you've got no control over the cue ball with a shot like that, and it's flown into the pocket off the blue.
Marcel just making sure it isn't a free ball.
Just want to double check.
I don't think it is. I know it can't be. There's a red at the bottom left.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's not a free ball. But he just did right to look. There was a let-off, wasn't it, for Bingham? He'd be pleased to be back at the table so soon after what looked an encouraging start to a frame. Got a chance to play attackingly here. He could play off the left side. And as that graphic, without further ado, has come onto the screen, because where the blue is, you want to be somewhere in behind the green and blue, and you can open the reds at the same time. Didn't quite get the cue ball far enough across to the left.
Jones is looking to move two clear for the first time in the semi-final. Jones, the 7th Welshman to make the semi-finals here at the Crucible. And Darren Morgan, one of those 7, was instrumental in introducing him to this sport. He was on holiday as a boy in Greece, and Morgan happened to be there on his honeymoon, spotted him playing pool, and immediately identified some potential there. Recommended that he take up the game of snooker, and here he is, playing for a place in the world final.
Yeah, that's a really good shot. That's very attacking safety once again. All right, Bingham can get to the right side here, but he has been misjudging these safety shots down that side, hitting them a little thin on occasions. He's judged that one all right. That's absolutely fine. Especially if he gets cover. Yeah, they can't get through to anything on the left side.
That's a terrific shot from Bingham. There was pressure on that. It was missable. And he's given himself a really good chance now. Jones visibly frustrated about how that's worked out.
Eight. Nine.
What Bingham could really benefit from here is a one-visit frame just to restore some rhythm in his game. A number of the frames in recent times in the semi-final have been quite truncated and attritional.
17.
Certainly a very creative shot to get in, and that is Bingham all over, I think. He's got a lot of shots, a wide range of shots. He's a consummate match player, great break builder, as we always say, all of the 147s he's made. Oh, goodness me, though. That's the problem. His sharpness is slightly gone. And that could be a very big moment, because Jack Jones has got an opportunity here to extend his lead.
One.
That was crucial. He just flicked it on the way through, which stopped it. He's enraged by that, frustrated maybe. His scoring has dried up a bit, hasn't it?
Great way to keep the break going.
Strange, isn't it? It just might end up working in his favour, you know, that bad shot where it hit the black, because it's opened up a lot of other balls as well.
Eight. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing better than 48 from Bingham by way of a break since the 10th frame of this match. And he's had chances. That looked like a good one that's gone astray with the miss black.
$15. $16.
Well, there's a lot on here,
23.
that's for sure. I want to put the mockers on him, of course, by saying that, but really, it is a good opportunity.
24.
Whether he takes it or not, I don't know, because, you know, he hasn't been scoring in big numbers for a while. He's good at all of the rest of his game, you know, he grafts and plays good safety, but now this is where he has to just try and get the frame one. Single visit.
$31. $32. $39. 40.
Certainly the Bingham black was unforced and ended his hopes of just restoring some rhythm to his game that's rather deserted him since he took that 2-frame lead at 6-4.
Yes, and now the lead is growing 42. This red means only the chance of a tie.
47.
There's, his father is on the right, Jack Jones' father. So that's the Jones balcony.
Yeah, his dad Colin has followed him all over the world, and as we often hear in this sport of snooker, both his mum, Debbie, and his dad Colin were huge supporters of his career in the early stages. Financial sacrifices made to ferry him around the tournaments, hotels and everything else that goes with it. Of course, his mum struggles to watch him live, even on the TV. She tends to wait to hear how things have gone after the match. I'm not sure whether that's changed for this semi-final.
Well, that just about seals the frame Boeing snooker, and if he could knock this red to middle,
54.
the black that Stuart Bingham missed to the right corner in this frame when he was going quite well, it's going to be, well, it's a move, isn't it, for sure, from Jack Jones. Well, he just couldn't quite
Jack Jones, 50.
deliver the killer blow. It is snookers, but of course Bingham was not going to be conceding this frame, not yet. You can get it down to one red, who knows? A little bit of a sloppy miss after everything that's gone before. Just prolongs the frame and possibly gives him a few things to consider if Bingham gets a snooker or two.
Yeah, I think maybe that Miss Black has knocked a bit of the stuffing out of Bingham, who might need the interval just to regroup. Facing a 2-frame deficit for the first time. That's the black in question. When he was going nicely, it was a chance to really reassert himself in this semi-final, which has gone astray, and barring snookers, it's going to cost him. Particularly now that red has dropped, so this frame is over, and it's been a very profitable morning for Jack Jones. Lost the first frame of the day, but he's won the next 3.
7.
And he's in brand new territory now. 3-0 behind at one stage, could easily have been 4-0. Bingham missed a blue, which changed the narrative of that opening session. It's been punch and counter punch pretty much all the way through since then, but now Jones threatening to make some sort of move here. And right now looking the more composed
11.
of the two.
$13. $16.
Well, my
20.
prediction was that it wouldn't end up 12-all at the end of this session. Someone would make a move. It might still end up like that, but for now, Jack Jones is doing well. He had a good session there, good mini session.
Jack Jones is within 6 frames of the promised land of a World Championship snooker final. He's won 3 of the first 4 of the day. Stuart Bingham needs to start scoring more heavily. He's in a bit of bother now. Jones has carved out a 2-frame lead for the first time, and at the break he leads 11-9. Jack Jones, who was 3-0 behind at the start of this match and really struggling
21st frame.
in his first foray to a world semi-final, now has the opportunity to move 3 clear.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't big enough to win this match for either player and get into a world final, of course, Bingham has won the Worlds before, World Championship, but it would also be a way back into the top 16 for whichever player won this. So it's a huge game. Jack Jones in the top 16 did not seem likely. Just over before last year's World Championship, almost unthinkable. Anyway, he's not there yet. Because the cue ball and the red just came into contact a secondary time, and cue ball was meant to go down the table, but it was cut short by the red. So what has Bingham got left? Has he been able to regroup in that mid-session interval? Cue ball would have gone to safety had the red not hit it again.
He hasn't been without good chances. He's missed a couple of blacks off their spots, including the frame before the interval, Bingham, when he was well placed.
1.
You can't help feeling that one good break, one frame-winning break, could be transformative for Bingham. But he's got to make it happen. This is an early chance.
Well, he hit that pink full ball. He could hardly have achieved more than that, getting it squarely like that. And you see he's on a red.
Seven.
Strange old business, isn't it? Thinking about those qualifiers where he trailed Stuart Carrington 9-7, Bingham. Now, had he lost that match, who knows who'd have been playing Jack Jones here. Well, that's left short, and that is a sign
Stuart
of
Bingham.
a bit of weakness
7.
from Bingham. He has shown that this morning, hasn't he, a little bit? I could say frailty, not the word, just tiredness, and this is, well, I mean, it's not even getting close to the pocket, is it?
One.
Aside from the 46 break that helped Bingham win the first frame of the day, nothing better than 32 since.
Seven.
Well, it wasn't a particularly good shot that he played. He is on a couple of reds, but the cue balls ran a bit loose there across the table. This has now become a missable shot, especially as it should have been a lot easier than it is. Well done.
8.
He's got a fine temperament, that's one thing you can say. You know, temperamentally, he's absolutely superb. And I don't think you can go the distance here without that. They'd be furious there, though. But without that bit of right-hand side, he probably
13.
wouldn't hit the yellow, but because he put the side on to keep the cue ball down the centre of the table, not drifting to a left cushion. But in that instance, down the left side, he'd have a red or two available. They're not good to hit the yellow there. Again, a recovery shot required, this one. Don't know if the cue ball's going to miss everything coming out of that area.
14.
Yeah, very, very good. Well, a chance to really assert himself now. Bingham has shown him that the cutting edge has gone off his game for the time being. Now is the time for Jack Jones to exploit that. There is nothing in snooker like a 3-day semi-final of a World
16.
Championship. There's nothing to compare to it in any other form of snooker. All the twists and turns.
17.
But Jack Jones, of course, new to it all. Seems to be learning quickly.
$23. 24.
Some of that mental toughness that we've seen in evidence throughout this run to the semi-finals, I'm sure, was developed in what was a rocky start to his pro career. He was actually only 16 when he turned professional. Won the European Under-19 title, beat Anthony McGill, but then fell off the tour.
29.
They would have been difficult moments. He said in hindsight that perhaps he was professional too early and found the transition too tough, but got back on in 2016, won the European Amateur Championship. And although his season has been very quiet, he is a player who seems so well adapted to the unique demands of this event. And the way in which he's been able to overcome mistakes, block them out, not let them influence his next shot. We saw evidence of that earlier in this frame when he played a poor positional shot and
35.
then stroked in the red to keep the break going.
$36.
Yes, he's had to recover twice in this break, but now
41.
I mean, he looks to be in a position of great strength as far as this 21st frame is concerned.
42.
I mean, that pink that Bingham didn't hit hard enough at me, it was so far short of the middle pocket. I mean, normally when you see those not reached, they normally end up on the brink of going in. That one was a total mishit, wasn't it? And causing great pain sitting there. Because he's been had plenty of time to think about it, and it's not going to be a positive recollection, is it?
48.
Every snooker professional who's played at the Crucible will tell you that when you're playing well, when things are going well, it's the best place in the world to play. But the opposite is true when you're struggling. Even though there are
49.
nigh on 1,000 people in this theatre, can feel a very lonely place when things aren't going your way. And a lot of time to dwell in your chair on what might have been when your opponent's spotting the balls.
$55. 56.
At the moment, Jack Jones is handling the occasion the better. And this is the ball he needs to move 3 clear barring snookers.
Yeah, very good this. A couple of bumps in the road early in the break, but now he's
62.
asserting. And the next question is, can he now forge away in this match? Has he got that extra you need, like Karen Wilson found late last night was possible, getting a 6-2 session victory? This would be to lead 4-1 in the session.
And the first goal
64.
that he would have had, I'm sure, coming into this session has been achieved, because whatever happens now, he can't be worse than level going into the final session tonight. So that in itself eases the pressure a little. The pink stays out.
Jack Jones,
56 the
63.
difference, only 43 left. So it's 4 snookers as things stand for Bingham.
One.
Well, this could be end of frame here, because I think he's going to try and pot this, and if this doesn't go in, he's definitely... We're moving on to the next frame quite quickly, I think. Oh, it has gone in. Oh, what a shot. Yeah, well, that was...
8.
I'll try it and see what happens, or else I'll just walk off, start the next frame. Hugged the cushion, didn't it? That's the one good thing. Not very threatening, quite
Stuart
honestly.
Bingham, 8.
Jack will have... I think he's got a clear shot. You can see half of it. He can't actually pot it. But they were never really going to get the snooker there, playing it like that. A meaningful one. Well, that's. I'm not saying Bingham can win this frame because I pretty much doubt he will. But Bingham Black down there, that's a nice target to get the cue ball in behind at some point. Well, credit to him for not just moving on towards the next frame. Although had that Black not gone in, he certainly would have conceded. I suppose if you don't try, then you're never going to find out. But we are at a critical stage, aren't we, of this match? Because on the assumption it's going to go 12-9, you know, the likelihood is Jones could, well, he could even pull away, and could see him with 1 foot in the final. But it feels like Bingham won't just give up the ghost quite so easily, despite these frames now slipping past him.
Well, it's a long road back with 3 4-point snookers needed, but you never know. Of course, Jones got a couple of the 3 he needed yesterday before eventually Bingham got over the line. If he were to get them or win this frame, well, that would have turning point writ large all over it, but it's a big if.
Points.
Yeah, of course, it's actually 4 snookers, so the plight for Bingham is even greater, but he has got one here, and the red's out in the open, which makes Jones' assignment that little bit trickier.
Yeah, to hit the ball, certainly with the red there. I guess the only good news is that leaving a free ball would be very much a big error if that somehow happened here. Not sure that line looked particularly straight. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those
Foul.
snookers. Yes, he's missed it,
Stuart Bingham, 4.
but he hasn't left a free ball. He could be in another one. I'd say that pink and black, where they are quite tempting. Yeah, good target. I mean, Jack Jones earlier on played on the last red, and he ended up pushing that pink in behind the black from where it was on the side cushion. Well, it's either a snooker or not the most difficult swerve. He might just be able to get through to it. Yeah, I think he can pot it, in fact.
Bingham immediately hanging his head because he underhit that by a margin. Obviously was looking to get behind pink and black. Knew as soon as he hit it, it wasn't going to make the journey. can certainly see why Bingham is now playing on. He's got one of the 4 snookers he needs, but that pink and black is providing a very handy shield to lay a couple of potentially fiendish ones. Looking to avoid losing his 4th straight frame in this session.
Yes, Bingham is just seeing a table that is conducive to getting snookers, I think. I don't know what he feels about the chances. Got one here. It's not a snooker you could end up going in off into a corner pocket from in hitting it. Well, not at that speed. Could be in another one here.
Bingham is really struggling at the moment.
I think his problem is he's got no touch, has he? I mean, that shot compared to the earlier one, the pink that didn't reach, his touch seems to have kind of deserted him, which can happen. Especially here.
This frame appeared to be over 10 minutes ago, and the result still looks highly likely to be a Jones victory and therefore a 4 straight frame. But until that red goes down, the play will continue. Yeah, Jones could have killed it off a little bit earlier, but it's still highly unlikely, you would think, that Bingham can get the now 3 snookers he needs.
Well, that's one way to counteract the Bingham attempt at snookers. Get him in one of your own. That's one of these shots here. I mean, if he potted this and went it off in the middle, it wouldn't matter that much because the red was down. Because the red will never come back up, and that would end the frame really. Can't do it though, can he? I think he was worried about the in-off. I understand that you can miss the pot and go in-off. It's absolutely no good to you. Once the pot goes in, it's the frame over really. The frame that won't lie down, will it?
1.
Surprising that. I don't suppose he had many choices, but little surprise he took that option.
Eight.
It's basically 3 snookers. Of course, you could get one, couple on the yellow, green and brown, and then maybe you would pot the blue and get another one, a 5-point penalty or something.
Stuart Bingham. 8.
The body language from Bingham is very evident of the way he's feeling at the moment. Pretty down on things. He's just not producing the snooker that's got him to this semi-final right now. He's lost his ability to take the chances that he's had, and he's had a few. Had a good one at the start of this frame, of course. Left the pink well short to the right centre pocket. He's missed a couple of blacks as well when he was in. And trying here to defy extremely heavy odds and give himself something to work with for the remainder of this session. As things stand, he's falling 3 behind for the first time, with 3 to come.
Yeah, no problem.
A frame that refuses to end. The average frame time for the match is just over 23 minutes. This one is now into its 28th, even though it appeared to be over getting on for 15 minutes ago.
It's another snookering opportunity. If you can get the yellow up somewhere near the blue ball, it could get the 5 points he needs to make it a fewer amount of snookers that's required. Well, he's got one there. That mightn't be that very easy to hit, actually. If he goes right side, the pink is kind of in the way to play with a lot of left-hand side to hit it, I think.
Foul. Stuart Bingham 4.
Well, Bingham persisting, and at the moment he's having some reward.
Yeah, and the only good news for Jack Jones there was the cue ball never went in to the pocket. Ball in hand would have been easy to get another snooker on the yellow. Well, this is getting interesting, isn't it? From the position where it didn't seem as if there was much hope of anything coming of this.
2 snookers now required. Again, Jones finds himself in one. He'll be getting Just a little concerned now. At one point it seemed almost an impossible task for Bingham.
You know, the worry here is that now that there's 32 in it, even if he gets out of this, Bingham could put yellow, green and brown, then get another snooker on the blue, a 5.1 to tie, or even take it down to the pink and black, which he probably won't do, to get one to win. But the higher value Foulds could make this interesting. If he misses this, of course, it's just one snooker anyway.
Say it again. Sorry. Oh, absolutely, yeah. If you got to go, you got to go.
Well, Stuart Bingham needs to answer a call of nature. This frame looked as though it might be the quickest frame of the semi-final. And now it's shaping up to be the longest. Bingham still needs 2 snookers, having initially needed 4. But when you got to go, you've got to go.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if he could win it, it would be potentially a match change, a real plot twist, wouldn't it? 48 in it on 1 red. Most of the time players would concede, but if you remember what he did do, he actually potted. He was 56 behind on 2, and then the blackie potted down the cushion. It feels like a long time ago now. You know why? Because it was a long time ago. I think it was probably big odds against at the time. Looks as if it's been set up with that trick shot where the cues go, ball goes down the 1 cue and down along the other 2 and pots the ball in the middle, one of Dennis Taylor's, but that's the 2 players' cues on the table. And it's basically 2 snookers, but it would be 1 snooker if it went down to blue, pink and black with 5 points available, and a snooker to win on the pink and black. But like I said, I don't think he's likely to do that. There's ball on Bingham, who's emerged.
Seems like since the interval, some of the earpieces are quite loud. If you use the chance right now to adjust them a bit, please. Thank you.
Well, Stuart Bingham's back. Jack Jones has yet to return. Bingham still needs 2 snookers.
Yeah, I noticed Bingham is not going to handle the cue of Jack Jones. I understand that. It's a strange thing, isn't it? Most of the time, the snooker cue that is yours, you would not touch, really. Anybody else's. I remember Steve Davis was very against that. If you tried to pick up his cue, he would absolutely be furious. He wasn't allowed to go near his cue. The time standing still a little bit. Jack Jones is back.
This frame now into its 33rd minute. We've talked all tournament of the mental strength and fortitude and tenacity, choose your adjective, for Jack Jones. But if he were to lose this frame, all of those things, even for him, I think would be sorely tested. And there's still some jeopardy there. For his part, Jones very anxious to get control of this exchange on the yellow, not allow Bingham the opportunity to put him in more trouble. Jones hasn't potted a ball for nearly 28 minutes now.
Two.
Now the difference, 25 on.
Stuart Bingham, 2.
Another rueful grin from Bingham because A, it's not a snooker, and B, it is actually potable.
suppose if nothing else, Bingham has slowed things down a bit, and just as the match was starting to go really against him and in favour of Jack Jones, he might still win this frame, Jones, he probably will. But he might just stem the flow a little bit.
Free.
And there's a chance everyone will get all the frames in now. And I suppose right now Bingham wants out of the place, but he kind of did last night as well, I thought, towards the end. So he's got to find ways of breaking down Jack Jones, the player, and he's not able to do it.
Stuart Bingham. Free.
He's trying everything he can do. Ultimately, he isn't playing anywhere near as well as he was.
Feels a lifetime ago that Stuart Bingham left the pink woefully short into the right centre when he was first in. But Jack Jones, try as he might, just can't kill this frame off, and the longer that remains the case, the greater his concern that something might still go horribly wrong here.
Four.
So 23 now the difference, as Neal mentioned. The possibility now that Bingham can tie the frame with just the one snooker. Overhit that by a distance.
Four.
Pink's not much use to Bingham right now, tight as it is to the top rail.
Yeah, I don't think you'd be keen on rolling this over the pocket, actually, because then it is, believe it or not, one snooker to win after all this on the pink and black, which takes some getting, I suppose. But it's still probably not a good idea to make that possible. In fairness to Bingham, he's kept the frame alive to the point where all those snookers have been got. Now it is, as you're saying, just one. If you got it down to a respot, that would be a real twitchy one, wouldn't it?
I'm right down the line of that cue ball, and I don't think Jack Jones can get through to potted anyway. This frame is now into its 45th minute, the longest frame of the match. Incredible, really, because it was looking likely to be the shortest when Jones was in. Didn't quite get the extra ball required to completely kill it off. Wow.
Well, that means he's going to try and pop this, and we do advance the frame at least, because he's either going to get it or he isn't going to get the snooker on the pink, and then as soon as he doesn't, then Jack Jones is going to roll the pink in.
Five.
It's going to have to be a good one, isn't it, here? I mean, it's very difficult anyway. It's a 45-minute frame, goodness. And it looked like it was going to be about 12 minutes at one point.
Stuart Bingham, 5.
Tell you what would have been very interesting had he got tight in behind the black, and he wasn't a million miles away, then you are talking about a different ball game. Jack Jones has got to get this over a pocket, in or over, as we say. One of the left, probably the left-hand corner or the right-hand corner. Hasn't potted a ball for 35 minutes.
Groans from some members of the crowd as Jones got close to finally putting this frame to bed. Struck it pretty well, but not quite on target.
Another attempt to roll the pink in here. Full length of the table. Might use a bit of drag on this. Yeah, played low on the ball. I'm worried because there's like one big shot in there that would possibly snatch the most unlikely frame. Yeah, one big snooker attempt that he could just nail.
One thing the length of this frame has done is surely guaranteed that we're not going to get another 3 in after this. Of the scheduled 8. All of that blood, sweat and tears ultimately for Nout. What an extraordinary frame that seemed over after 12 minutes. In the event, it's taken 50, the longest of the match. It's gone to Jack Jones. He leads 12-9. I guess it depends how this one pans out. Of course, the previous one looked like it could be very swift. It turned out to be anything but. And ultimately, Bingham's efforts were in vain. And it bears repeating that Bingham's major problem on the resumption today is that he just hasn't scored. One break of 48. That's as good as it's got for him.
Well, we're being told that they won't start any more frames after 1:45 local time. So my guess is they'll get in a couple. I mean, they could get all 3 in, but as you say, he's opened it out based on the trend of how long the frames have been. Average frame time 24 minutes, just over. Great shot. It's kind of a weird stat on the screen there, wasn't it? It's 39 minutes since he potted a ball, and yet he's just won the last frame. That can't have happened very often.
Made that bit of cueing all the more impressive, but
Green ball.
just a safety.
Jack Jones. 1.
He's looking at these two reds, aren't they? They're not in line, and the cue ball's close to them, so it goes down as quite a difficult possible plant, I think. Oh, he's gone in though. Difficult or not. Well, I think he's a very tough player, Jack Jones, and that's another test of his toughness. Yes, he won the last frame, but he was kept off the table to pot a ball for the best part of 40 minutes, even in winning the frame, because he...
Be careful with the wrappers, please.
Bingham ended up potting all those balls, actually, didn't he? From 2 reds onwards, and still lost it. But he has a healthy 3-frame lead, which he can now add to. While the going is good. Well, now, does anything go? Is there a gap through there to anything?
6.
There might be a gap. There might be a gap through to a red. It's really close. I think that this red goes. Through the eye of a needle, that one. Just making out that, sure, there's nothing easier, but you wouldn't believe you could get through that gap. It's only the width of a ball. I think when you're playing this shot, you've got to work out which ball is the one that could be in your way. And if you decide that if you took one of them away, would you be able to pot it? And then if you took the other one away, if the answer is you can, then it goes. I think that the possibly the ball that's in the way most is the left-hand red. If there is one. That was an extraordinary gap, wasn't it? I mean, it literally was a ball's width plus half a millimetre either side or something. How on earth did he get through there?
I'm sure Bingham is asking himself the same question. So this is another decent opportunity for Jones, now eyeing a 4-frame advantage. And going for his 5th in a row. He lost the first of the day.
14.
So that 46 break from Bingham, but since then, it's been all Jones.
15.
He's not looked at the left-hand red yet. Clearly he's made a
22.
mistake there. The left-hand red to middle is tough, but it's a way of keeping the break going. I think he might come back to it. This red on the left. Didn't play a great shot. Yeah. The shot on the black was not one of his best, quite honestly.
Foul and a miss. Stuart Bingham.
Big mistake. Bingham walks around to find out if he's on the red, and he'll find out that he is. And that was a wide target, and it's a gross miscalculation. That's a bad shot, though, isn't it? Goodness me. What a terrible shot from such a good player in around the black spot. He looks to me as if he's running on fumes at the moment.
And devoid of any rhythm, any touch. The previous frame was an absolute epic in the end. That's high.
Stuart Bingham.
Trying to make something happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen here, but right now, he looks to me as if it's not an easy shot on the table for him. You know, the pinky missed in the last frame, and yes, he tried his hardest on those snookers. I mean, the first red there was so unlike Bingham. And then the black again didn't reach. But it's a very inexperienced Jack Jones who's got the task of pulling away from an experienced former world champion, despite the fact that Bingham is completely on the ropes.
Ten out of 12 with the rest in this match, Jones. So, another reprieve for Bingham. One or two cries have come on Stuart. He needs to find some inspiration from somewhere, which has been completely absent to this point, aside from the first frame, which he won. His highest break since then, 32.
One.
Right then, Stuart Bingham, what have you got here? What have you got? Because you're going to have to find something a bit lively. You can get through the black. Some of the gaps are unbelievable, aren't they, here? This frame. Well, I'm a believer that he will regroup if he gets enough chances to do so, because he is the most tenacious player who loves being out there. But he's going to need to, because he's hit a few bumps in the road.
9.
Can he put all those shots behind him that he mishit?
$16. $17. $23. $24.
I guess the fact that he's been here before and done it is going to help him. It's going to make him believe that he can be in a final. It's interesting, if you look at all of the stats of world champions, such a high percentage of world champions have also been in a world final along the way. I can think of the likes of Neal
30.
Robertson and Luca Marcel and the man in shot who don't fit that bill.
31.
But Many of the others are. I suppose that's why Kyron would have a chance, because he's already experienced it. Seems to me if you can get there once, you can get there twice.
Jones turned to be frustrated because in playing out of the snooker he left the red for Bingham. That went wrong straight away, but then of course missed with the rest. Wasn't an easy one, but it's given Bingham this opportunity to finally, belatedly, make a break of substance.
.38.
The groans tell the story. Bingham deflated again.
44 touching ball.
Yeah, I mean, he could have played it differently. It's easy afterwards, isn't it, always, when you see these shots. He could have really forced the cue ball through there. I think he just tried to deftly push one red out. He's got a touching ball for his sins and for his troubles, but it's not really going to help him. Yes, he can just play directly away from the reds, but he wants to be potting balls, not engaging in more safety, because he's not really bossing the safety exchanges against the younger player, Jack Jones. Still just taking a bit of time, isn't he? Still furious about the last mistake. Not rushing into his next shot, which is a good tip, I think. So easy to play a knee-jerk reaction sort of shot of annoyance. And now we're here, he might as well just play a good one.
Stuart Bingham, 44.
.26 the lead, still
Thanks.
59 available.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Stuart just allowing Marcel Eckardt, the referee, to see the gap. There is some red available there. About an eighth of a ball, I'd say. But he hasn't hit any of it. And that's why he let Marcel have a look down the line, so that if there's a replacement,
Jack
he knows
Jones,
where to put
4.
it. Simple as that. And how much he can see. And I think it's going back, isn't it, surely?
Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing, if he plays it again and misses again, then he'll get warned, because there's a red, as you can see, in open play out there. And the 3 strikes and out rule will come in if this
Just have a look for me first.
is in operation. I think the line is absolutely right, but the ball's got to come back closer to the cushion, which makes the shot more difficult.
Shall we check?
Well, I think actually,
please
I think it's the other way around. I think it's got to go forward a little bit.
Okay.
Sometimes it's hard to work out which is the actual ball and which is the shadow, isn't it? We're here in the arena, still not sure.
I'm slightly that way now, just a little bit. And it's good if you agree the line from there.
Yeah, you check the line, please. Still, yeah? Yes, slightly rocking. You think you can see a little bit more? Adjust.
Yeah, you can see that it's just outside its shadow.
This is why some of these replacements are quite difficult for any referee.
Check.
When you're trying to hit just the edge of a ball.
Yep, thanks.
I don't think that's quite right, is it? But anyway, we move on. It's a difficult job. I wouldn't want to do it. I think it looks bang on from there, though. He's playing the other red. Played the double kiss. It's quite good. Of course, the usual thing to say is, well, why on earth didn't he play that first time? Because I suppose there was more uncertainty in it. He thought he could clip the reds. I don't know if this red could be doubled into the right corner here. Playing up and down. No, but that's a good shot all the same.
Well, that cannon could have been a whole lot worse for Bingham in the event. He snookered the open red behind the blue. He needs a bit of help at the moment. He's really struggling with his game.
This looks good. Is it going to go around the back, or is it? Yeah, it's one of those. It looked very good. He could have ended up just leaving the cue ball on the left cushion, which would not have been the same. But, well, if Bingham ends up losing this frame, and I'm not suggesting he will, but he may not be favourite where the balls are. But given that he got in and made a few, break of 44 seems a lot in the context of what we're seeing. And the frame still goes to Jack Jones. I don't know where Bingham goes with this match because it's slipping.
Foul, miss. Jack Jones, 5.
Well, I mean,
Please, Paul.
Marcel Eckardt, he's got to put all those balls back. I think the blue was on the spot. But, you know, you're not looking at... Well, in fact, the brown and blue... No, the blue wasn't on its spot. The brown was. This is why, when snooker players retire, you never hear of a snooker player wanting to be a referee, do you? Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
You know, like a former professional.
Brown was on its spot.
Well, we underestimate just how grueling it is for the referees. We talk about the players and the 17 days and the long sessions, but of course, it's just the same for the referees.
You know, in other sports, in cricket, you get umpires that are former players. In snooker, I'm sure there's some competent players, but I've never seen a professional end up refereeing. They just don't want anything to do with it because it's
Sorry.
maybe not for them, but Marcel is one of the best in the business, in my opinion.
They also don't have the luxury of sitting down between frames, so it's a very, very demanding role. Absolute concentration required. A privilege, of course, particularly to officiate here at the Crucible. Paul Collier will be donning the gloves for his 4th and final World Championship final from tomorrow before he takes up a directorial role at World Snooker.
Can you see a difference in the screen, Paul?
Looks very good on here.
Yeah. Check. Thanks.
Still a long way off for Bingham.
Foul and a miss.
It was a terrific snooker. You saw Bingham tapping the
Check
table
chance
well in
four.
advance of the cue ball coming to rest behind the yellow.
Indeed, it was, wasn't it?
It's not going back this time, though.
Yeah, you know, I mean, strangely, there could have been an argument to put them back again there, but, you know, he's got it in his own hands. It's not a nice shot, this, because the cue ball is sort of running across the table, either into the red to the left of the pink, or quite close to the left corner as well. That was his problem. If he could have just stopped hitting the jaws, he'd have been on the black, but the natural path was always taking it close to that left pocket.
Well, this is a test of cueing. Very awkward. Working his way back into the frame here, Jones.
8.
Bingham got in initially with 44, ran out of position, dropped his head to the table. There's been quite a bit of that from Bingham today, ever since he won the first frame of the session. Things have gone askew.
9.
Oh, it's a terrific pot. 2 excellent pots from Jones at that pace into the centre pocket. Really good.
$15. $16.
Yeah, only just, but we know these pockets are tight, so they don't go in unless they're online, and it clearly was. Well, this is a huge moment in the match, isn't it? He got a brilliant snooker. Now he's got a chance to capitalise. And he's a long way away from the target of 17 frames, but Bingham, it seems, I don't
21.
know how Bingham is going to win all these frames he needs to, because right now he's struggling very badly. And I think if he lost this frame as well, as I say, it would be a big regrouping with him and his team to try and find more later.
$22.
Quite nice, a bit straighter. Would have been guaranteed. I think he can just land on the yellow anyway. Yeah. So this is the point, isn't it, where he has to just get this frame one here.
27.
14 in front, so needs the up and two, and including the brown. Feels he's got an angle to get across from yellow to green. If the green was on its spot, it would be more favourable for Jack. That is a very good shot indeed. Right hand running side, I tell you, that was pinpoint accuracy. Terrific shot, that. It's unconventional as well. It's not something you'd practice, a shot like that. It's all touch and feel. So
32.
it feels like a huge frame to me, this one. If this brown goes in, I don't know where Stuart Bingham goes in this match. He'll never give up, of course.
36.
But it's slipping away, I think, Philip.
It would appear so. Numerically, nothing special from Jones. Shades of the 40 he made that changed the narrative of this semi-final very early in the piece,
41.
when he was poised to go 4-0 behind and at the time was all at sea. He potted some superb balls to make that break. And he laid a brilliant snooker in this frame to set up this chance.
7.
A brilliantly crafted break of 47 turns the screw on Stuart Bingham, who's in big trouble right now. Jack Jones increasing his lead to 4 at 13-9.
Jack Jones to break.
Marcel Eckardt calls the 23rd frame. He didn't say the final frame. We'll see how things unfold, but it seems likely to be. Nine hours and counting. Jack Jones's highest break of this match remains a modest 72, but he's been very effective at feeding off Stuart Bingham's mistakes, particularly in this session. But it was a superbly laid snooker that was the key to the previous frame, and then a really well-crafted break. The black was missable right off the bat from the side cushion, a brilliant red into the centre pocket at pace, and then the shot that Neal described to get on the green from the yellow. Among the highlights, Bingham finds a pot. What he hasn't been able to locate since frame 10 is a break of any real substance.
Good. Green ball. Stuart Bingham. 1.
another great shot. Might have left the red potable, but it was a hard snooker to hit from the way he went. Well, it wasn't a simple shot, but again, you'd have fancied him to get it. And right now, not much that he's playing. He's going right. Somehow he's got to win this frame, Bingham. He's got to pull a frame out from his boots, really, isn't he? I don't know how. And even that mightn't help him that much, but of course it's going to be better than losing it. Simple as that. Everything's hitting the jaws. What a chance again for Jack Jones.
Yeah.
It was a very good effort, must be said. It was very close. And that's why the red has rolled across the table, sadly for Bingham, right over the hole.
Okay. 1.
Yes, it's very similar to the other match, isn't it, in that the third session is the real moving session. They always say in golf, don't they, the big event, moving day is the third round. It's kind of like that here in this session.
8.
And Jack Jones is the player who can not so much see the winning line, but he's kind of in the straight, isn't he? In the home straight.
9.
He's a terrific player. You know, I know that he hasn't played as well as he can, but isn't that a mark of him? That he's scored in big numbers, but his safety and his a couple of the snookers he's laid have been horrible, especially in that last frame. He's on one to middle. He might have hoped for a bit more, but at least he's taken
16.
the positive option still. Difficult cueing this. Very easy to miss these to the top jaw. I've seen a few of these missed hit to the left as we're looking. Especially from where he's playing it from, goodness me. That's where exactly he did miss it as well. To that jaw.
Jack Jones. 16.
Safety, the predominant goal there, which is achieved. Great cue ball. Got Bingham right under the baulk cushion. Well, it has been confirmed, unsurprisingly, that this is going to be the last frame of the session.
Couldn't have hit that much better. Goodness, look where the balls have finished. It's lined up. And you do feel unlucky when that happens because he steered the cue ball back to a safe area. But of course, you've got no control over the red. So it's either a session score of 6-1 or 5-2. Either way, it's bad news for Bingham from 8-all. Worth remembering, isn't it, that when this match started, of course, on Thursday, Bingham won the first 3 frames and quite honestly should have won the first 4. He missed a blue to go 42 in front with 2 reds, but the black was tied up on the cushion, so and it was a simple blue, tried to force it. Since then, he's only picked up 6 frames out of a 19 that had been played. Thoroughly outplayed. I think that is the biggest circle I've ever seen put on a screen. That does keep your options open, doesn't it? The size of a dustbin.
6.
Well, that's been one area of Bingham's game that has been perfect. 17 out of 17 now with the rest. Well, here's a chance to end what has been a very disappointing session on a high for Bingham.
12.
The 46 break he made to win the first frame of this session remains the highest since frame 10 from him.
Yes, he had a little rueful smile on his face there, didn't he? As if he was a bit disappointed to be with that angle. Slightly off straight angle he had.
Even these mid-range pots are missable when you're under the kind of pressure Bingham is at the moment. He's just been completely bereft of any rhythm, any meaningful table time.
Well, if you took Bingham's form at the start of the championship when he was playing some really good stuff, he'd fancy him to devour this chance like this. Look where he's ended up, goodness me. Awkwardly over a ball.
25.
If he misses this, he will be more than a little bit disappointed, I think. Yeah, great shot. Nice recovery, that. So he really has to take it now that it's there. pull something out of the wreckage of a bad afternoon, morning into the afternoon session.
33. $34. 41. $42. $49. $50.
Applause for a half century for Stuart Bingham. You have to go back to the 10th frame when he led 6-4 when he made a century for the last time he made a break of that size. That's been a measure of his struggles. But he's finishing this session, it would seem, on a high.
56.
And there's still a long way to go in this match. This is the final frame, of course, of the session. Jones is still 4 frames away. That's a lot when you're playing in your first World semi-final.
Got to make sure he gets it done here, though. Doesn't have any more twists.
63.
The story. Frame ball. He'll feel a lot better about things.
And he's taken these well. There was that awkward moment when he was bridging over a ball that could have gone wrong.
Indeed, he shouldn't have been in that position, but he was, and look, Jack Jones will be pleased with his morning's work, no question. They haven't completed all of their 8 frames, they've only got through 7.
72.
But probably now that we're here, Bingham, if he was given the choice, could have probably done with another frame. To prize a 3-frame advantage out of a very tight match like this, when Jack Jones lost the first 3 on Thursday afternoon, it suggests that he's made a good effort, I think.
79.
I think if you were in his corner, you'd say you've done brilliantly. You're in the box seat for a place in the final, but no one would be getting him to go ahead of himself because he's just getting a sort of a sharp reminder of what Bingham is capable of. He's beaten O'Sullivan in the previous round,
84.
of course.
86.
And there's another session in this match to go, and bigger deficits than this have been turned around. I immediately think of the Ken Doherty 15-9 down against the late and much missed Paul Hunter,
89.
turning it around. So this is nowhere near as big.
And this is the sort of snooker that Stuart Bingham needs to conjure when they do come back tonight. It's been completely absent until this frame. Even the one that he was able to win at the start of this session was one with a break in the 40s.
98.
But finally, he's found a bit of rhythm in the nick of time to salvage the session and stay very much in contention. And there's the century, his second of the match. He raises his fist aloft. There's some irony in that because he hasn't played well today, but he's played well in the final frame. And who knows how significant that will prove to be come the end of tonight. Could be on, could be on. Not quite. A break of 104 to end a very disappointing session on a high for the former world champion Stuart Bingham. Jack Jones has had a good morning. He's won the session 5-2, including 5 on the bounce. He's 4 away from his first world final when they come back this evening, but there's still a long way to go in this one. The Welshman Jack Jones, 13-10 up.